Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. To those of you who just subscribed, I also really appreciate that. For those of you who are watching this, my channel is very much for my own enjoyment. I don't particularly like reviewing gear. All the gear I buy, I plan on keeping it. And sometimes it doesn't end up working out that way. But I really post videos like this on occasion so that hopefully it helps somebody out there make an informed decision, and then they can find something that will just help them sit and play and channel some creativity. So with that out of the way, I'm really excited to show you my new Ibanez RGD61AL. The story behind this guitar is basically I wanted to start playing in the lower register again. I have some experience with 7-string guitars, and ultimately I just sold the one that I had about a year and a half ago. And the reason why is, well, there's two reasons. The first being is I'm an intermediate guitarist. I have said that in my other videos. If you're new here and you're expecting someone like super special like Rabea or just any of those other guys, they're just way better players than I am. I am working really hard and practicing on improving just myself overall with playing, because I just love the electric guitar so much. Anyways, so that was the first thing. And the second reason was I just found the neck so daunting, and I played a 7-string because I was so inspired when I heard Tesseract, and I wanted so badly to learn a couple of their songs. And then me and a group of guys performed one of their songs a couple years ago at just like a local show that my graduate school had. It was basically a talent show, let's be honest. But from my part, aside from learning those songs, I just didn't really find any inspiration from playing on a 7-string guitar. But I did enjoy being able to play notes that were in the lower register. Hence, that is why I got this guitar. This is a 26.5-inch scale length guitar, and just in the last month or so I've had an itch again to play in that lower register, and I felt like I could find it more inspiring if I had a neck that I was more comfortable with. And the past couple months I tried playing other 7-string guitars, and they just didn't work out. I just knew I'm gonna sell this thing within a couple of weeks, and it's just gonna be my loss financially. So that's why I ended up with a 6-string with this long of a scale length. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not had good experience with Ibanez guitars. I find their QC very hit or miss, and the majority of the time I'm just so disappointed. And when I saw this one on Reverb, I asked the shop if they would be incredibly thorough with it, and they were gracious enough to do that and check out everything for me. And they said, hey, this one seems to be really special. The frets are really level. The ends are nice and smooth. It sounds great. What do you want to do? And I said, yeah, let's pull the trigger. Let's do this thing. And to my surprise, they were gracious enough to offer to set it up with a specified string gauge and tuning. So I had them put on 13 to 56 strings on here, and they sound really, really good. And keep in mind that they had to file the nut for the 56 gauge, which is really odd. I would think Ibanez would assume that on a guitar with this scale length, people would be playing in lower tunings, which a lot of the time requires heavier strings. But they did such an amazing job, I didn't even notice that they touched it. So kudos to them. So look at this just gorgeous finish. I mean, that is kind of what drew me to this guitar in the first place, and Ibanez has always done a great job with the way their guitars look. It's just, and their necks always feel really good too. It's just the other components can get in the way of your creativity, or, you know, just the way you want to play. So if you want to go over the specifications of this instrument, I'll leave a link in the description. There's a layered ash body right here with beautiful grain on it. A couple things I wanted to point out is that this is a plastic nut. I've complained before in another video that Ibanez and Jackson really need to bite the bullet and just put graphite nuts on their guitars, because that's just, it's becoming the standard with a lot of these other smaller companies. And there's glow-in-the-dark side dots, which is really, really cool. The logo glows in the dark. I don't play live, so I don't really care about that, but it is kind of a cool feature. One thing I wanted to point out is that there's only a volume knob and a 3-way toggle switch. So if you're looking for a ton of versatility, like single coil sounds, or just, you know, really, really chimey, glassy cleans, this guitar is not gonna do that for you. This thing is really made for progressive metal. And, you know, they've even said that on the website. The maple fingerboard is such a joy to play. Ever since I got my PRS CE24 with the maple fingerboard on it, I'm just obsessed with maple. It's just, I think it sounds so good, and it's just so open yet punchy, and it's just a very clear sounding wood in my opinion. But anyways, you can contest that, it's no big deal. The neck is flatter than what I would normally play, but I got used to it pretty quick. It's more of a D shape. That's what she said. But the best thing about this guitar is the pickups. I had the intention that I was gonna swap these out because they're stock pickups. They are made by DiMarzio, so Ibanez commissioned DiMarzio to make these Fusion Edge pickups that come stock in a lot of their models now. And I heard them once before, and I just didn't find them very inspiring, or they didn't really have a lot of character, but they sounded good. It's not like they sucked. But for whatever reason, this guitar has so much mojo, and these pickups have a lot of character to them, and they're very vocal. This guitar is just so resonant. I mean, I can feel when I strum it, like, it just vibrates a ton, like against my chest. And when you're in the neck position, you really get that vocal kind of O sound when you're playing leads on it, which I'll show you guys in a second here. And just in either position, you're gonna have a lot of clarity, and I feel like it does really well switching from single note playing to big chords. Even when you're on the bottom 3 strings, you can definitely hear every single note. So yeah, this thing just feels really solid. I'm really happy with this guitar, and I think it'll serve my purposes well. I've had a lot of fun getting to know this thing the past couple weeks. So I'm gonna plug this thing into my Kemper Profiler, take you guys through some tones and riffs. I'll try to do like a gent type riff. That's not really what I like to play, especially now. But when people see these types of guitars, that's the first thing they tend to ask. So I'll try to do that for you guys. I very much plan on making more videos in the future because I do have a good time doing this. And one promise I'm gonna make to you guys is I'm never gonna like do a Patreon or anything like that. I feel like if I can't fund my own passions and hobbies, then I shouldn't be doing this at all. And it's not your job to do that. You know, those other channels, like, there's nothing against them that do Patreon. Like, I understand that it costs money if you're reviewing a ton of gear. Luckily, I don't have to do that. But yeah, it's not your guys' job to pay for my hobbies. I don't know. I just think it's, for me personally, I just wouldn't feel comfortable doing that type of thing. Thanks so much again. Let me know what you think about the tones and about this guitar. If you have any questions, please ask me, and I'll be back with another video hopefully in the next couple weeks. Peace.